Hide the Dragons here, and we're doing a branded base. It's a bunch. It's branded branded Bestial and some, what is it? I think it's a little bit of something else, but so branded. Yeah, there's a bunch of engines in here, so mostly branded and Bestial though. So let's get started. For the main deck, play 3 Fallen of Albaz. If this card is normal special summon, except during the damage step, you can discard 1 card, fuse one monster from your extra deck using monster from either field as fusion materials, including this card. But you cannot use other monsters you control as fusion material. You only use the effect of this card once per turn. Then we play 3 Luber, the Jester of Despia. By the way, this is a 53 card main deck, but because of all the engine requirements, but it's still pretty consistent in my opinion. I saw a guy play, I forget his name, but he was playing 51 on YouTube, and then he said it was still pretty good. So I exude confidence that this will do well. So we play 3 Luber, but if this card is normal special summon, you can add 1 branded spell trap from your deck to your hand. If a face summon fusion monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of opponent's card effect, while this card is in your graveyard, target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, special summon this card, and if you do negate the target monster's effect until the end of this turn. Also, you can only use 1 effect this card once per turn. Now we play. This might be a little weird for some people, but I didn't want to bump it up any higher. If I did, I would recommend bumping this up to 1, but I found out I just like this. 2 is Blazing Cartesia, the Virtuous, great card. If you control Fallen Albaz or it's in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand during the main phase. Quick effect: you can use a fusion monster. Fusion summon a level 8 or higher fusion monster from the deck. Use a monster from your hand field. During that phase, if fusion was sent to the graveyard, you can add this card to the graveyard to your hand. You can only use 1 effect of this card once per turn. And then we also play 2 Guiding Quem, the Virtuous. This card's always treated as a Dogmatic and Despia card. If this card is normal special summon, you can send 1 Fallen Albaz or card that mentions it from the deck to the grave. If the card leaves the field, leaves the extra deck during the damage step, you can target 1 Fallen Albaz or 1 monster mentioned in the graveyard, special summon it. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. Now onto the Bestials. We play 3 Bestial Saronir. Basically target 1 light or dark monster you go grave or banish it. If you do special, then let's go with this card from your hand. Quick effect: if your opponent controls a monster, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send 1 Bestial monster or 1 branded spell and trap from deck to graveyard, except this card. And what you would normally do is, I don't know if specified is it has to be one or the other or both, but let's see. Yeah, it's one or the other, but you would other likely send the Bellion, which is the next card we're putting in, because once this card is in your graveyard, you cannot normally send for a hand or graveyard. By attributing 1 level higher 6 or higher dark dragon monster, you can special summon the Bestial once per turn this way. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and 1 Bestial monster from hand to deck. During main phase, you can place 1 branded continuous spell from your trap to your deck, face up on the field. You can only use each effect once per turn. And what card you'll be searching for is Branded Lost. It's really helpful in this deck. And the 1 Bestial Magnamot, basically same thing, like banish 1 light or dark from your or your opponent's graveyard, and then at the end phase you can search for a dragon. 1 Tri-Brigade Mare Courier. When your opponent activates a monster effect while you control a fusion monster that mentions Fallen Albaz as prior quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or face up field to the graveyard and negate the effect. If this card is banished, you can add to your deck 1 Fallen Albaz or monster that mentions it, except this card. You can only use each effect once per turn. Then we play 1 Spriggan's Kit. If you have a fusion monster that mentions Fallen Albaz as material on your field or in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add to your hand 1 branded one of your branded spell traps that is banished or in your deck or the graveyard, then place one card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. You can only use each of this effect once per turn. Then we do one ad libitum of Despia. During my phase, you can make all monsters on the field gain attack equal to their own level by 100. And of the start, if this card is in your hand or field, is used as fusion material and sent to the graveyard or banished, you can target one Despia monster or level 8 higher fusion monster that banished or in your graveyard, special summon it. Then we play one Despian Tragedy. If this card is sent to the graveyard or banished by card effect, you can add one Despian monster from the deck to hand except this card. You can banish this card from the graveyard, then put one spell and trap in the graveyard, set to your field. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. This might be weird, but I only played one Albion the Shrouded Dragon. I didn't want to play any more. Plus, some people think it's a great effect. I think it's an okay effect. This card may become Fallen Albaz while failing grade. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can send one Fallen Albaz and one spell and trap from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Apply the following effects. Hand, special summon this card. Deck, place this card at the bottom of the deck. And then, if you place this card from your hand, draw one card. Then for the hand traps, we play 2 Ash to stop deck effects, 2 Droll to stop adding to deck to hand, and 2 Vader to negate things on the field. Now for the new stuff, we play 3 of the Fallen and the Virtuous. This card is treated as a branded Despia Dark Mana card, activate 1d6. Send one monster that mentions Fallen and Valvez from your extra deck to the graveyard, take one Mesa card on the field, destroy it. If you have an Ecclesia monster in your field or graveyard, target one of the monsters in either graveyard, special summon it to your field. Then we play 3 Branded and High Spirits. Reveal one monster in your hand, send one level 8 fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard with the same type that has 2500 attack and defense. Then you apply this discard that reveal monster, and if you do, add one Fallen and Valvez or monster that mention it from your deck to hand. During the end phase, if a fusion monster was sent to the graveyard during this turn, during the end phase, during the end phase, if you was sent to the graveyard during this turn, you can add one card from the graveyard to your hand. You can only activate one of these effects once per turn. Then we play 3 Branded Opening. Discard one card, then take one Despia card monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it into a defense position. Also, for the rest of the turn, after this card's fall, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters. If a fusion monster you control will be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard instead. Then we play 3 Forbidden Droplet. Just a good card. You can send any number of cards from your hand or field to the graveyard, choosing many effect monsters your opponent controls, and their effects are negated and attackers have till the end of this turn. Then we play 3 Super Volley, discard one card, and then basically fusion summon from your field or your opponents. Then we play 3 Fusion Deployment. Reveal one fusion monster in your deck and special summon from your hand or deck or one of the fusion materials whose name is mentioned on the card. You can also special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except fusion monsters. Then we play 2 Branded Fusion. Wish I could play it at 3, but it's at 2, so can't. Basically, fusion from your hand, field, and deck. Then we play Branded Lost. In the other one, I used to play 3, but that's when I didn't have Rebellion. So, because it's searchable now, you only play 1. This basically stops your opponent from not interacting with your fusion plays. 1 Branded and win, basically you use this to, on your opponent's turn, to fusion summon, target 1 Despia monster or Fallen Albaz in your graveyard, add it to your hand, then apply the following effects. Fusion summon 1 level 8 or higher fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion material mentioned on it from your hand or field, but it cannot attack directly this turn. That's why we use it on your opponent's turn. Branded in white. Fusion summon 1 fusion monster from the extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, including a dragon monster. You can also banish monsters from your graveyard as material. If you use Fallen Valvez as a fusion material from your hand or field by banishing itself from the graveyard during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there to activate the Fallen Valbaz. This turn, you can set this card on the field. Then 1 Thrust, 1 Called By, 1 Foolish, and 1 Fusion Duplication. Target 1 Fusion or Polymerization normal quick play spell card in either player's graveyard, banish that spell, and then apply that spell's effect when this card is activated. That's it for the main deck. Let's go into the extra deck. It's a 53 card main deck, so it's a little bit bigger, but in my opinion, you want to play you want to play between 50 and 60 main decks so you can get the most out of all the engines. We play 2. I'll be on the Branded Dragon. If this card is fused summon, you can fuse it from one level higher, late, or lower fusion monster from your extra deck, except this card by banishing fusion materials from your extra deck, but down from your hand or field or graveyard, not the extra deck. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it's sent there, you can add it. You can add to your hand or set 1 Branded spell trap from your deck. Then we play 2 Mirror Jade. You can send one. You can only control one of this card once per. You can only control 1 Mirror Blade Ice Dragon once per turn. Quick effect: you can send 1 fusion monster from the extra deck to the graveyard. That mentions Fallen Valbaz as material. Banish 1 monster on the field. Then this card I can also use the effect next turn. If this fuses on this card in your control, if it's in your opponent's control, leaves the field because of the opponent's card. You can destroy all monsters your opponent controls, not control. Then we do 1 Albion the Sanctifier Dragon. Cannot be used this material. Once per turn during your your opponent cannot target this card with cards or card effect. You can also use the following effects of this card once per turn. Quick effect: you can target 2 monsters in any graveyard. Spell summon both monsters, 1 to each of the field. If this card is in your graveyard, you contribute 4 monsters, the 2 in your extra monster zones and 2 in your central monster zone. If you do, special summon this card. Then we do 1 Titanic Clad Ash Dragon. Gains attack equal to the combined levels of monsters used for its fusion summon times 100. After this card's fusion summon, for the rest of the turn, it's unaffected by activated effects of any other monsters special summoned from the extra deck. During that phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it's sent there, you can add to your hand or special summon 1 Fall of Valbaz or Dogmatica monster from your deck. Then we do 1 Libellion the Searing Dragon. This card is fused summon, discard 1 card, fusion summon 1 level 8 or lower fusion monster from the extra deck by shuffling fusion material mentioned on it into the deck from your monsters on your field or graveyard, or face of banished cards. For the rest of the turn, this card cannot attack. Also, you cannot spell summon the deck or deck except fusion monsters. We do 1 Rimbrum, the Striking Dragon. When a fusion XYZ, Synchros, or Link monster activates effect, you can negate the effect, then return 1 monster from the field or hand during your opponent's turn. All those cards in your graveyard. Quick effect: you can target 1 Fall of Valbaz in your graveyard, special summon either that monster or a card and banish the other. We do 1 Alba System Dogmatic Calamity. Must first be fusion summoned. Can attack all your opponent's monsters once each. Cannot take character unless you send 1 card from your extra deck to the graveyard. Return if you control a fusion summon card, have 6 or more fusion summoned cards in your graveyard with different names that mention it, and Fallen Valbaz as material. You can send all cards in each player's extra deck to the grave. Then 1 Grandor the Dust Dragon. If this card chooses summon sent by 1 level 6 or higher light dark monster from your deck or extra deck or to the graveyard. If this card is special summoned by your opponent's activating monster effect, except during the damage step, ban this card from your field or graveyard. Special summon 1 Dogmatica or 1 Despian monster from your extra deck. We do 1 Begram the Glory Dragon. Cannot be destroyed by battle. While you control this fusion summon card, your opponent cannot target other monsters you control with monster effects. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard and sent there, you can add to your hand or special summon 1 Tri-Brigade monster or 1 Fall of Valbaz from your deck. Then we do 1 of the new Night the Dragon that Devours the Dogma. While a Ecclesian monster is on the field or in either graveyard, this card gains 500 attack. Also, it's unaffected by card effects. You can also use each of the following effects of the Dragon that Devours the Dogma once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you You can shuffle off to 2 cards from any graveyard and or banishment into the deck during the end phase. If this card's in the graveyard because it's sent there, this turn, you can add 1 diagonal or Trimegate card from deck to hand. 1 Despian Podascheme. During the main phase quick effect, you can target 1 Fusion XYZ link monster from the opponent's graveyard, banish it, or special summon it to your field. When this card is destroyed by monster battle, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the monster's original attack, whichever is higher. We do 1 Night Nardness Dragon Lord. This card loses. Basically, you once per chain, if the spell, trap, or monster effect is activated quick effect, this card loses 1,000 attack / defense, and if it does, negate the activation. And if this card's is in its own possession but destroyed by opponent's card effect, you can target 1 Dragon monster in graveyard, special summon it. And then we do 1 Guardian Chimera. It must first be fusions summoned by fusions from your hand or field with at least 1 monster from each. If this card is used summoned by a spell card or effect, you can draw cards equal to the numbers that is used as material from your hand. From the hand, if you do, destroy your cards your opponent controls equal to the number of cards used as material from the field. You can also use the effect of this card once per turn. While polymerization in your graveyard, opponent cannot target this card with Vex. Well, that's it for the extra deck. Well, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and keep dueling, everyone.